obviously I haven't been doing this for very long. Like I only have a few episodes released, so it's always like trying to find the thing that we can, nebulize around and like actually have a conversation about. But I'm also getting a lot better at like guiding people, like letting people do their thing, and then just like asking the right question to learn a little more information. Eventually, I'm gonna be on NPR. That's the goal. Or I'm gonna be calling Phillies games. You choose. That's your choice,
I would go with
people.
NPR.
Yeah.
Phillies games somehow sounds way more boring.
Yeah, but I love baseball. Like,
I love baseball too, but just the Phillies.
Yeah.
Maybe the Yankees or something.
No, fuck the Yankees, dude. I'm I bleed red and white pinstripes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm yeah. Out of all the sports, like baseball is my thing, and I love baseball, but I don't really like watching it unless I'm watching my team, like the Phillies. So it's
I can see that. Like watching just like two other teams that aren't the Phillies is tough.
Right. Even like playoffs and like other sports like playoff basketball, football, hockey, all that. I'm like, I'll watch this. Cause,
that's actually a good point. I'm actually the same way with baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, if any other team's playing in any other sport, I'm good. I'll be able to watch it.
Right.
In baseball, it's like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Baseball blows.
I totally understand why people think it's boring, because it is like a boring sport.
It's a long game.
Yeah. But that's what I love about it. Sure. There's no clock. There's no ties. Mm-hmm. You fucking lose or you win. There's always a winner and a loser. Mm-hmm. So it's a good representation of life, I think.
I can see that.
Yeah, that's
America's pastime.
Yeah, not so much anymore.
I know.
Yeah, it was when people were real poor. Yeah, and it's like, oh, all we need is like a rock and a stick. Let's go. Yeah. We got it. Yeah.
A bunch of drunken white guys.
Yeah. Dude, I love the point that Shane made in his history fucking podcast where he talks about how rugby was fucking invented. Just some retarded dude picking up the soccer ball and running around the field. They're just like, oh, we gotta tackle this dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yo, that was kind of fun. Let's
let's make a game out of it.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Human Interaction Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Hambone Hambleton. Sitting down today with Beezer, with Brian Six.
Hello.
How's it going, dude?
Good, man. How are you?
Cool. I'm good too. I'm tired today. I'm dragging.
Wow.
I was just up all night, like literally until the sun came up. I was awake with two of my friends who I haven't seen in a little while. We were recording and doing various drugs, throughout the night. The idea was to drop acid and do a podcast together, but I realized I had too many responsibilities to have like a full-on trip night.
Sure.
I wasn't in the right headspace for it, and then we ended up just doing other illicit substances all night long. And I ended up being late coming down here. I didn't even fucking put shoes on, dude. I got slippers.
There you go.
I walked out the house like, hopefully no one fucking chases me today, because that's how I feel even when I'm wearing shoes, actually. I will pull my hamstring instantly if I have to run from anybody. Yeah. Like slow pitch softball has really taken a toll on my body.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've permanently damaged my hamstring.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because it happens every year. Every year I pull my hamstring to the point where I can't walk and I feel like a pop in my leg. So
yikes.
Yeah, don't get old and fat, guys. Yeah, don't do that.
It's good life advice.
Right.
I'm beat up too I used to be a big skateboarder, so it was like you don't really feel it when you're young, you know what I mean? But then as you get older, you get up a little bit slower and you're like, the steps are pretty steep.
Ooh, that's a sick set. I don't know about that.
You just beat the shit out of your body from like ages 13 to like 18, and then you hit like your 20s, and you're like, why is my shoulder falling out of place? Yeah. The wind blows too hard. You know what I mean? It's like, it's brutal.
Yeah, that's something I got into. Like, I loved skateboarding. Mm-hmm. I was what one might call a poser.
Okay. Standing on the side, smoking cigarettes.
Standing on the side, smoking cigarettes. Had the sweet DC shoes. I was a DC kid. Where all the like skate gear and everything had a nice skateboard, like custom,
Yeah,
everything like that.
You're a Grom.
Yeah, and it wasn't that like I didn't try to be good at it.
Sure.
I was just not good at it. I couldn't. I tried for like 6 years and never learned how to ollie. Like I couldn't figure it out. Yeah. Yikes. Like almost broke my ankle trying to drop in the first time. Like
people dropping in the first time is some of the funnest memories I have. Like the 8 or 9 years I was like really into skating and like, you know, doing everything every weekend, you know. But I also grew up in a time when it was like the prime age. It was like the golden age of Love Park.
Okay, yeah.
So this was like, you know, you're talking like I was like 12 or 13, but like going to Love Park, this was like, you know, Kids had just come out. So that was a big movie and like those guys were coming down there. Like Harold Hunter was down there a lot. It was in Kids.
I don't think I've ever actually seen that.
You ever seen Kids?
No, because it was one of those movies that I knew I wasn't allowed to watch when I was younger.
Brutal.
Yeah. But now it's like I should look into it. I know my friend's older brother had a VHS copy, and I think we tried to find tits in it one time, like when
there's tits in it.
Yeah, well, this is when we were younger, but then we found his hardcore porn VHS, and it was like, all right,
that works.
Yeah.
That was just called tits.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, that's what it was. He hid that tape in the kid's sleeve.
The old, the different VHS copy.
Yeah, which again, like, if you're gonna, why wouldn't you try to hide it in like something a little less innocuous? You know,
and Shrek 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean that was like big. So like, it was also when. It wasn't as corporate as it is now.
Okay.
Like it's after the X Games, you know, everything X Games took off, and it's like it became corporate stuff, and you know, skaters owning half the businesses and starting new fucking companies every other day, which is fine, you know. Like it obviously elevated the sport to where it is now, which is insane.
Right.
You know, back then it was like a more raw time. It was just like, you know, you go out, you get on the fucking train, you go down to Love at like 8 a.m. You run from the cops 6 or 7 times. Yeah. And then go back 20 minutes later. And then, I mean, I've slept at Love Park when I was like 14. I slept under the bench like a few times. Okay. In the summer, like, because that's all we did. We sat there, we skated Love. Sometimes we go to City Hall and skate. Sometimes we go up to Temple or Penn. There was, you know, Drexel. There was just spots all over the city.
Yeah, so what about like FDR?
I didn't really ride FDR because that's more park skating.
Right, okay.
So, like, Margera and those guys were down there a lot.
Yeah,
and we actually I was down there one time and we got booed out of there. My Josh Callis was there and he got
I know that name.
And Getz, and they got booed out because they obviously knew who they were. Like, you know, we were from Love skating. FDR is I mean, dude, I know I have a lot of friends from them, from down there, but they're fucking douchebags about it. Like, put it like this, dude. I remember when Margera was on that tour and he rolled the bus up, Tony Hawk's tour or whatever, and he rolled the bus into FDR when they were coming to do their their show in Philly, and fucking Matt Hoffman rolls out, and the one universal rule down there is no bikes because their pegs will grind up on the coping and rip it up, even and it's cement, so tears it up. And Hoffman wrote out and they started chanting no bikes. I was like, dude, it's fucking Matt Hoffman.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking retard.
He's got a fucking video game, dude. Like,
and then he goes up the one wall, does a backflip, and they're like, yeah, I guess he can see it. He's the most famous BMX biker pretty much of all time. It's like, you should let him. Yeah. And so I mean, but after a while, it's like, you know, some guys get, you know, they go pro, they got to move out to Cali or New York, and it's like, you know, like anything else, you just grow out of, and it's like, am I gonna be a professional in this? No.
Right. Actually, the no bikes thing, I was well aware of because my brother and one of his friends actually got like a grant from our hometown to build a skate park for the kids.
Oh, nice.
For the skaters.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because there's this like vacant lot that was paved. And no one was using it for anything. It was just like this paved area in a pretty centrally located part of town. And it's like they used to go down there and just skate and like build little shit, you know, to little rails and boxes and stuff like that they could transport with them. Yeah. And they get in trouble so much. And it's like, we're not causing any problems. Sure. You know, we're just having fun. So they petitioned the city and got a grant, and they fucking built that skate park by themselves,
That's
like
awesome.
as like teenagers. Yeah. So that's another reason that I was down there a lot, because it's like,
Okay.
you know, my big brother and all his friends. I want to hang out with them. They're doing this stuff, you know. And they were cool about like trying to like bring me in and like teach me how to skate and everything. Because I was a pudgy little kid that got beat up at the bus stop all the time, you know.
Right.
And so yeah, they were trying to like toughen me up, make me feel cool and stuff like that. And then like I just couldn't do it. I just literally like physically cannot get the coordination to like, all right, so you kick your foot here and the whole board goes? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I can't snowboard either.
Snowboarding I actually picked up pretty quickly, but I remember my friends when I first went snowboarding. I've been a bunch of times, I guess, by now, but like the first time I went, people were like, "You're gonna pick it up because of skateboarding," and I was like, "I did it." The balance thing, it was like skating, but there's two major differences. Number one, your feet are strapped in.
Right.
I used to be, you can kick a skateboard away anytime you don't like the fucking way it's going. Snowboarding, you can't.
Yeah.
And also, when they do like the rails, you're moving like 100 times faster on a fucking rail with a snowboard as opposed to a skateboard.
Yeah, because it's waxed up and
First couple times you're back, I'm just like, woof, you know what I mean? You don't realize how fast.
Yeah.
You don't have to put much effort into a snowboard to board slide on a rail as opposed to a skateboard where you do.
Right. Yeah, and I ski like
okay,
and I can do some of like the rails and grinds and stuff on skis, but it is a lot different than anything else I've ever experienced.
I should have went pro tuber. That'd have been sick.
Pro tuber, fuck yeah, dude. Big air competition on it too.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, man. I want to go. We can go back to like saucer sleds. Let's get a saucer sled, a flexible flyer, fucking
Clark Griswold.
Yeah, yeah,
fly
dude.
into the woods.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We used to do that. That was like the big thing. The jail right up the street from where I grew up, like my house, the county jail was right up the street from us.
Okay.
And it has a big hill. So that's where all the kids would like go sledding when it snowed.
Yeah.
Was at the county jail. And they had to stop letting the inmates out because the inmates would like heckle kids. Because it's Lebanon County, okay, Lebanon County,
they're
Pennsylvania.
The tubers.
Yeah, they're or like they try to fucking get us to like get them drugs. Like, hey, I know this guy. You can call him. Like, bring it. I'll pay you some money. Blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, dude,
that's fucking hilarious.
They're all dope fiends. Like that's why that's why those people are in there, because that's what Lebanon was. Like when I was growing up, it was like in between Baltimore and New York and Philly and all that, so it's like a quick stopover. We were pretty much known for like really cheap, good heroin.
It's just funny to me that some kids just like, fucking his snow pants.
Dude.
At the end of his tube, his sledding ride, there's some dude at the fence like,
you suck.
Or he's complimenting. He was like, "Oh, sweet 360."
Yeah, dude.
Like, do you know what heroin is?
Yeah.
Listen, you sled it right in here.
That's not far off, man.
That's fucking hilarious.
And like there were many times where people like you could like walk past like the fence where the yard was,
Okay.
And so people would just walk by, like people were in there, like their buddies would just walk by, like huck a sack over the fence into the yard, and someone would go get it, put it up your butt real quick, and yeah.
It's like in Chester. The jail in Chester is right next to the parking lot at Harrah's Casino.
Oh,
so
God.
if you go up like to the third or fourth level in the parking garage, you can look right in to like yard time.
Yeah.
They're just like in there. I'm going to bet on horses. You know what I mean? It's
hilarious. Yeah, I experienced jail life a little bit, and it was not anything I recommend for anybody. And I wasn't even doing like hard time. I did a hard 2 weekends, baby.
Oh,
it was rough.
Weekends.
Yeah, whole weekend.
Checking in, checking out.
Yeah, it was. I like to say it's the weirdest way white privilege showed up in my life, was going to jail. Like,
my one buddy was doing weekends for like I think he had like 3 months of weekends, and it's funny because at the county jail down in like the Delco area, I think it's called, was it George C. Hill?
That's where I was.
Oh, you were?
At the Hill, yeah.
Are you on 5 block on the housing? On like,
I was like the DUI building, yeah.
So when you go in, it's just he was telling me, it's like all cots.
Yep, yeah. It's just
it's like you're not in a cell, you're just like cots.
Yeah, it's like summer camp with way less shit to do.
That's fucking hilarious.
I talked about it in like the very first episode I did, but it was a shitty episode. I don't know that many people listen to it, so I'll rehash it. I like telling the story.
Okay.
We had a TV with a DVD player.
Okay.
for some reason we were allowed to have that and bootleg DVDs. So like you get it.
Sorry, why some of the guys were in there?
Yeah, they're still running the business though.
Yeah.
So like you get there on Friday night and you check in and everything, and then basically you go right to sleep because it's just like fuck this, I'm here again.
Sure.
Wake up on Saturday. Well, you get breakfast, if you want to call it breakfast. Like you get something that you can put in your stomach, and
Some gruel.
oh god, food's
Sweet
terrible, dude. Yeah, the only
I can't
thing
imagine the food.
the only thing that was worth it was the dessert that you get with every meal. They give you like a little cake or something. Those are usually pretty good
All right.
because they actually have like sugar in them and flavor.
Right.
But like everybody is just like, yeah, I'll trade you my whole plate of food for that cake. Like,
seriously?
yeah, my whole tray of food you can have just for that cake. And I was like, no, no, I want it too. You know, I'm only here for 2 weekends. Leave me alone.
Mm.
But yeah, you get in on Friday. Your life sucks. You're miserable. You wake up on Saturday, watch the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Okay.
Because it takes up so much fucking time. It's like once you're done, you're 9 hours into the day after that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that was the activities that we did basically, and then like you make it through Sunday, maybe play cards with people.
Yeah.
And yeah, make it through Sunday, and then you get to leave. So it's really not terrible.
What time did you have to check in on Fridays?
It's 6 p.m. Friday to 6 p.m. Sunday.
Okay.
And then yeah, you get to go to work. And I only had 2 weekends, so it's just like, yeah, they cut me a break, dude. I did pay a lawyer a lot of money, but
Sure.
I got off with less than the mandatory minimum sentence. So
Was that, and this was DUI stuff, right?
Yeah,
And
DUIs.
how many was it? 2?
2, yeah, and they just changed the laws right before I got my second one
Okay.
to like be more.
Yeah, 'cause they're harsh now.
Yeah.
They don't fuck around.
They're even worse than 2 years ago when I got my second one.
Yeah, but it's like almost like every year they get worse because like Shaner got 2 in 1 week.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was like 1, and then it was like 4 days later he got the other one, and the second one was really bad. He fucking plowed his car through a fucking house, like almost through the house, like basically onto the front porch.
Yeah.
And luckily, the fucking house was empty. It was being sold.
Oh
But, like,
shit.
dude, you
Okay.
could have went to a fucking baby's room.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, it's all I think about with that, and like.
But then you still don't, and I'm guilty of this too. You still don't change your behavior.
No.
You're still like,
Go harder.
yeah, dude. Even when I had like the breathalyzer in my car, I was like,
Yeah.
all right, now I just got to get really good at not being drunk when I blow into this thing. But I could still drink, you know. Like,
How does that work with that thing? Because my one friend had it for like 6 months. He had to have it on his car.
yeah, I had it for a year. I think I think it killed my alternator.
Really?
Yeah, because now like before I got it taken out, my lights start flickering like if I'm idling,
Okay.
if my car's idling, and it's like it has no trouble starting up or anything like that. So it's like, fuck, either I didn't connect these right when I replaced them, you know, myself, or yeah, my alternator's going.
Did you have to install the
No.
Oh.
You take that somewhere. So they have like approved vendors that do
Okay.
it. But what was nice is you know, once you get a DUI, first you get letters from every single fucking attorney in the nearest 3 counties.
Sure.
And then once you're sentenced, they start sending you information on like how to get this thing installed, who to contact, blah blah blah. So I went with this company because I thought the name was kind of cool. It's just called Intoxilock. Yeah,
That's a good name.
yeah, exactly. So I went with them, and like I got in touch with like one of their service reps and everything, and he's like, all right, yeah, well, and they make it really easy for you because it's something that you have to do, which I thought it was going to be a lot more work on my like legwork on my part,
Mhm.
but no, they do everything for you. So I told him where I am, and he like looks around. He's like, all right, there's openings here. Where do you like? What would be most convenient for you? You know. So I said, well, that one's really close. It was like a Midas or some shit like
Yeah.
that was approved to do it. He's like, all right, let me give them a call. I'll get back to you with like the price or whatever. So he like called them, and he called me back. He's like, no, we're not gonna go with them. They're like way more expensive than anyone else who's doing it. I'm like, dude, thank you. Like,
That's great.
because you could have just been like, hey, fuck you, idiot, for getting a
There's
DUI.
one, go do it.
Yeah, exactly. So he found me a place that it was $100 to install it.
Yeah.
which is not bad. You have to pay a monthly rental fee
Are you serious?
for the unit.
Fucking
It's like
Christ.
$80 a month or something
What?
like that. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, and then on top of it, like I'm still paying off fines and shit too.
Oh,
like
yeah, I can't
2 years later. Yeah, for those of you listening, a DUI is expensive, and I know this is hypocritical of me, but just dude, don't do it. Just don't drive drunk. It's easier
only
said than
way you're
done.
gonna beat it.
Yeah, easier said than done. I know, but yeah, it's not a fun time. It's not something I recommend for anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get that installed, and then it has like a limit on, at least my unit did, and every county's different too. Like I have friends in Dauphin County who have one, and his has a camera on it.
Okay.
So it makes sure it's the right person doing
They
it.
have like facial recognition on it.
Yeah, I think it just like sends a picture every time.
Okay.
It like because it like stores data,
Right.
and you have to go in every like 2 months and have it like recalibrated,
Sure.
and they
upload
they send all the shit to PennDOT or whatever. So yeah, it takes a picture of you while you're doing it, and you have to hum while you're blowing. So you have to be like you have to make a noise when you do it.
Okay.
Yeah, mine was just like you breathe in for like hard, you got to blow hard into it for 3 seconds, and then you have to inhale for 3 seconds and then exhale again until it like says you're good.
Okay.
And it has to be like continuous. So it's a way that you can't just like hook up like an air gun to it and like.
Do you still have it in your car?
No, I got it out, thankfully.
Yeah.
I bought like a $30 one off of Amazon though that I carry with me if I know I'm going to be drinking, just so I can be like, all right, I'm good. I'm under the legal limit. You know?
Yeah.
So the one I had was like you could fail, you could pass, or there was like a yellow, like a caution where it would let you start your car, but it's like, hey, obviously you've been drinking. I think the limit where it would not let me start my car was maybe like 0.04 or 0.03, something in that range. Cause I've definitely had like 1 or 2 drinks with a dinner when I had that in my car and went out and it was fine. Or it was like, hey, yellow, you know?
What does that mean? Well, when it comes to like yellow or green or red, whatever, is that stuff stored and like sent to whoever is uploading it so they can be like, yo, you blew yellow like X amount of times?
Yeah. I never had any issues with that happening, but I did fail a couple times. Like leaving an open mic, like just didn't wait long enough or like had a drink a little too late. Yeah. Actually, there's one time I went to Raven. And when I had
I don't think anybody's car's starting after you leave.
Yeah. So I wasn't trusting the fuckers at the garage to handle that properly, you know, and like not get my car locked out. Because if you fuck it up enough times, it'll just lock you out and you can't
drive. You
can't start your car, and you have to like call them and get your car towed. And like, it can be a real bitch. But yeah, I parked over by a fucking First Unitarian Church and walked over to Raven.
Okay.
And which not a crazy long walk, but still, you know. So I was over there, and then it's like I walked back, got my car, and it's like, nope. Like fuck. And then it'll lock you out for like 5 minutes if you fail one, and then you can try again. If you fail again, which I did, it'll lock you out for like half an hour. Oh. And then if you fail again, it'll just completely lock you out.
So you were good on the third attempt?
I sat in my car for like 2 hours and just waited until I knew I was going to be good. So I could have just like walked back to Raven. But at that point, everybody, I think I was talking to you that night actually. And you were just like, dude, if you need somewhere to stay, like just don't leave the city. Like fucking don't be an idiot. And I'm like, no, I'm good. Yeah. No, failed 2 times. Yeah, 2 strikes.
Damn it, I should have listened to 6.
Yeah. But yeah, I did eventually like get home that night, but
well, that's good.
Yeah, it definitely taught me like self-control and like being aware of like, okay, I know how I felt when it would let me start my car. So if I'm not at that point, if I feel a little more drunk than that, not even like gonna get in my car, you know, I'll just wait the extra half hour or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm never in that much of a hurry to get somewhere that, you know, I can't wait the extra. Now, granted, when I'm leaving the city at fucking 2 a.m. after Raven, it is nice to save that extra half hour of sleep. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're up. You know, how far is your drive?
To Lancaster from Philly, you know, at night going home, it takes like an hour 10.
Okay.
Which is not...
Still.
Yeah. It's not terrible, and I'm used to it
Mm-hmm.
at this point. It's actually... I like making that drive, which people are like, you're insane. I'm like, whatever.
I like driving at night.
Yeah, you get, and even coming down like during traffic, it's like, all right, I sit on the Schuylkill. The majority of that drive is sitting on the Schuylkill, but
sitting in traffic.
Yeah, I'm used to that too from when I lived in LA. So
yeah,
like I drove the 101 to work every day. It was the worst fucking commute I could ever experience.
Yeah,
35 miles, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Like,
you notice they always put the in front of the...
Yes, yeah.
On the West Coast.
That is a weird thing.
The 101.
I had to...
It's like they...
The 10, the 5, yeah.
I have friends, like comic friends, that like come in from LA and like they say it all the time. Like, yeah, I'm stuck on the 95. I'm like, don't fucking call
No,
it that.
yeah, you don't do that here.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
Yeah. I had to... There was a lot of things that when I moved out there, like the culture shock. It was just like, all right, I'm 19 years old. I moved from fucking Lebanon, Pennsylvania to Los Angeles, California to Hollywood, baby.
And you moved out there for comedy?
No, I didn't do comedy. I've only been doing comedy for like 5 years.
Okay.
I started when I was 27. So
you moved... Why'd you move out there when you were 19? Just to move?
Yeah, failed out of college. Had nothing going for me. My best friend lived out there, and it was like... Medical weed's legal, dude. You just gotta come out here and have like $200. Yeah, exactly. 19-year-old me was like, "Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah,
we'll write a script. We'll get it picked up. We'll fucking make the next best movie ever."
Dude.
Yeah,
I'll be living on the streets, sucking dick within a year.
That's what would have happened for sure. I got a job as a video game tester. Kind of lucked into that. I did background acting for a little bit, but that turned into what I run into in comedy. No, actually not. No porn at all. I was on an episode of Without a Trace and an episode of Shark with James Woods.
Yeah. Jimmy Woods. Jimmy Woods. Nemesis.
Fuck yeah, dude. I don't even know that bit, but I see you on Twitter all the time. Just like, yo, let's hang out, dude.
It's not a bit. It's just for a while, I was just tweeting at him and like promoting my shows with him. So I'd be like, Jimmy, you fucking maniac. And like the one is like, I always say something about it. I've said a few things about, or referenced a few of his movies. Yeah. But the one I always go back to and reference on Twitter is Vampires.
Okay.
It's such a bad fucking movie, but he tweets, and like I find the smallest tweet so I can take a screenshot and I will send it to Wood. Wood loves it. But like he said, like you can now be blacklisted from the Academy by a whisper. And I replied, Jimmy, you fucking maniac. Me and Wood are bringing back Nobody Died on 210. The theme is fights. You better fucking be there. Vampires sucked my ass. Link below, dog. But I just started...
Has he ever, like, responded to you in any way?
No. He,
What a fucking lame-o, dude. What a lame person.
It's funny, too, because, actually, it was Chris Wood's friend, a buddy of his he grew up with. He lives in D.C. He's an attorney. Okay. And I don't know all the details of the case, but his case or his firm was handling Jimmy Woods' case of Jimmy Woods suing someone for saying he did cocaine on Twitter. Like, he's like, dude, why don't you go do another line of coke? And he sued him. What? But I found out it's like, as long as you use slang, like, you can't really sue me because it's like, well, I wasn't talking about coke. But
I was talking about coke.
Yeah, like, dude, I would say stuff like, dude, let's fucking meet at the Arby's bathroom on fucking Sunset and numb gums, dude. I'll DM you my number. Like shit like that. It's all. I did it for like a year straight, and I never got anything.
It's hard to get celebrities to respond to you.
I got D. Snyder to retweet me because I tagged him, and I don't usually tag celebrities in things, but I did this time because I said, "Has anyone actually seen Joe Camel and D. Snyder in the same room at the same time?" And he retweeted because they're figuring me out.
Nice. At least some people have a sense of humor about it. You know, like that's a fun. It's a fun little interaction.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's cool. But yeah, I fucking. I was on those shows just background acting just because I needed a paycheck at the time, and I was hooking up with my neighbor. Nice. The Seinfeld episode is very right about that, though. You don't hook up with your neighbor, your next door neighbor. But she's actually a comedian, and she was doing comedy at the time.
She lives in LA.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of notoriety she's gotten so far, but she's still doing comedy. Still hates my guts too.
There you go, ham
Yeah,
bone.
yeah. So we
You
were
gave her the old ham bone.
I did. Oh, I gave her the old ham bone, and then I flew my girlfriend across the country so she could leave me in 2 weeks, and broke that off with that girl on Valentine's Day.
0 for 2.
Dude.
Horrible.
I'm terrible I'm a relationship cancer. That's what I am.
Really?
I've had multiple friends who asked me to be their best man.
Okay.
And then like 3 weeks later the wedding's called off.
Seriously?
Multiple times.
Huh.
Yeah.
I've been best man twice. Both couples that got married are still together.
Yeah, so you're the fucking angel to my devil, dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But yeah, I was doing that for a little bit. She convinced me to do the background acting thing, because it was like, you just have to go to this building and they take pictures of you, and then you call their hotline and just sign up and show up, and they give you a check at the end of the day.
Nice.
That's all background. I mean, you make minimum wage, but and you know, they feed you. You get craft services. So
yeah, see, that's the best part.
Yeah, yeah.
When we were filming New Muscle, the one episode was shot here.
Yeah.
And since it was being financed, like when McKeever and Nunn and them were bringing in all the equipment. So I remember that morning, John Nunn showed up at my house. He showed up here, I think it was like 5:15 a.m.
Damn.
I had just gotten into bed at like 4.
Yeah.
And somebody's knocking on my door. So I assume it's a comic or somebody who's got too drunk, Shaner.
Yeah.
Got lost. I don't fucking know.
Can I crash here, bro?
Yeah, which has happened, and that's
Right.
fine. I always tell people, if you know where I live and you're fucked, come by. There's always a couch. And
Right.
I just fucking opened the door. There's none with like 2 giant like camera boxes and like a giant bag of something. And then I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "None. We're shooting today." I was like, "I thought we were shooting at like 6:30." He was like, "Well, I guess we gotta set up everything." I was like, "All right." And then I went back to my room. I just hear like 20 people in and out.
Yeah.
Shit, and I come back out. It's just a giant table of craft services.
Nice.
And I just sit there, and they had to go get the rest of the camera and the lighting equipment. So for like a good half hour, I was the only one here with the craft services, and I was just tuning up fucking I was crushing it.
Nice. Nice.
I came in and I was like, "Who opened up the fucking cereal?" I was like, "I don't know."
Dude, cereal on craft services?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was like the little boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great, man.
Dude, that's a good setup. I think I got yelled at because I took too much food at, they're like, "Hey, you're just an extra, relax." Like, yeah. But yeah, those were fun. I think I did it for 3 days. They were fun days.
Yeah.
So it actually resulted in me, getting offered like a featured role.
On which one?
No, this is actually for a movie, for a feature film.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, which I talked about with the one dude who he's a filmmaker. He's an Oscar-winning director and producer, which I didn't know until I was interviewing him. And I was talking
to this podcast.
Yeah. It was one of the previous episodes. I didn't know that he had won an Academy Award until I sat down and talked with him.
What did he do?
They won Best Short for a short film called Curfew, which then got made into a movie called Before I Disappear.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
I didn't see Curfew.
Yeah, it's essentially the same story.
Sure.
It was just basically like the treatment that got turned into.
Right, nice.
Yeah, and I found that movie independent of ever really knowing that dude, and I was telling one of our mutual friends about this movie that I saw that like. It was really good. It was cool, like really dark, like very interesting theme to it, and blah blah blah. He's like, "Oh yeah, Brendan was in that movie. He worked on it. He was on the crew." Like, and I find out like, oh, he was like a producer on the movie, and yeah, and then we're talking. He's like, yeah, and then we got nominated for the Academy Award, and then we won the Academy Award, and people who were listening to it were like, dude, you downplayed that like so much because I had no idea.
Like, you start like straightening up your shirt. You're like, did you win? That's right. Okay.
I was just like, oh wow, that's neat. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's move on to the next topic.
And were you like sledding by prisons? Or
yeah, exactly. Well, and he's from like central Pennsylvania as well.
Okay.
Yeah, like all of those guys grew up like 20 minutes away from where I did.
Okay.
So it's another weird thing. Like, yeah, this dude fucking grew up. If he lived like a mile closer to me, he would have gone to my high school. One of those things. But yeah, that's how did I get on that? Oh yeah, the movie. I got offered a featured role in a movie, and I turned it down because I already had a job. Like I had a video game testing job.
You were offered?
It was the movie's called Gardens of the Night.
I don't know if I know that.
It was very indie film, but I realized after I found it on Amazon because I was like curious because like John Malkovich is in it, and
nice.
I found out later when I watched the movie Gillian Jacobs,
Dang.
and then I found out when I watched the movie that the role that they offered me was the fucking male lead. So I would have been acting with John Malkovich and Gillian Jacobs in this movie.
Now you're
or
in
if
Philly interviewing me.
yeah, exactly. If I had gotten the part.
Yeah.
But the way they said it, it was like just based on, and when I took the pictures, when I got like the headshots done, I was just wearing like tattered clothes, like old Alien Workshop shit. Yeah, you know, that I stole from my brother when he went to college. Yeah, it was just, I don't know where they got that from, but there was also like one day I was on set, and you know when you're an extra for Street Atmosphere, you got to bring a couple outfits with you, and you go into costume director, and they're like that one, you know. So she picked one of my outfits for me. I put it on. She goes, "Wait," and this was before I got that role or got offered that role. She goes, "Wait a minute, let me look at you. Like turn a little bit. Like let me see your profile. Blah blah blah." I'm like, "All right, what's up?" She goes, "You have the look." It's just like, what does that mean? You know? And of course, like 19-year-old me, I'm high out of my mind. I'm just like, cool. Yeah, I got the look. Yeah. I got the. What does that mean though? You know?
Harvey Weinstein walks in.
Yeah.
You got to look for Harvey.
Yeah. You want this role? We got a great role for you. I imagine that's how he sounds. I don't think I've ever heard Harvey Weinstein talk, but I imagine he sounds just like the most disgusting.
He sounds exactly how he looks.
Yeah. You could tell he's fat just by listening to him.
We were actually like 2 blocks away from him not long ago.
Oh, yeah?
He was at an open mic, and the video went viral. It was a girl went up. It was like some comedy show. The girl comic went up and was like, "So we just are gonna back?" And she started getting booed or something. I was like, "Are you out of your fucking mind?"
Yeah.
The fact that this dumb shit's out in public, and this girl, good for her. I would have fucking went into it, but like.
Yeah, and wasn't it like a benefit for like young rising actors or something like that?
Something like that. And he was at, I forget the name of the venue, but that was the night of Soda's taping.
Oh, okay.
The after party was like 2 blocks away from that. And I was like,
could have been there.
See comics just tear into him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In the back of a room, like he's playing the walker off, like he's got a walker now. I'm like, dude, just fucking go to jail and pay a ton of money. He's
doing the Cosby bullshit too, like, oh, I'm blind. I don't. Yeah, like, dude, you're a scumbag. Like, just
exactly.
Take your licks, dude.
So yeah, you got the feature, or they offered you.
They offered it me. Yeah. And I don't know if that had anything to do. It's just things that come back to you, you know, when you're thinking about your time in LA. I was in a high-speed car chase out there too, through the streets of LA. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good story. I should tell that one. But yeah, so bottom line with that first is that I had a job as a video game tester, and I was just like, no thanks. Like, I won't take that role because I didn't want to be an actor. That's not why I went out there. It was literally, it's kind of why I stopped doing the background thing, is because I was just there for a paycheck. Yeah. And everybody else was like trying to get SAG credits. I went to school for this. Yeah. And I'm like, I fucking failed out of college and moved here because weed was legal.
Yeah. That's my drive.
And they told me they pay me at the end of the day.
Like I just stand here and they feed me for free and give me money at the end. Yeah. I'm all about it, dude.
One of the first time I was on Shark, that was the first one that I was on. And that's when the lady told me that I had the look or whatever. But my first car was a 93 Subaru Impreza that was held together by wire ties when I bought it. And when I got out there, someone fucking clipped me, sideswiped me. So I had to duct tape my headlight back in. Dude, it looked like the worst piece of shit car in the world. And I didn't even know that I did this, but I drove right onto the lot and like parked it in plain view of like the camera. Yeah. And they're just like, I remember at one point I'm like sitting with all the other extras and they come in and they're like, hey, whose fucking Subaru is this? I'm like, is it like real beat up? They're like, yeah. Oh, that's me. And they're like, get it the fuck out of the shot. Like, you fucking idiot. Like, screaming at me. Yeah. Yeah. So I like started up and of course it sounds like shit. It's like the belts are all squealy and everything. And as I'm driving away, it's like,
oh my God.
Just like,
wait, did you see Jimmy Woods?
No. Who was on Without a Trace? So is that Gary Sinise?
Yes.
I actually like said hello to him and he like acknowledged me.
Day,
yeah,
huh?
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So that was just like we were walking by each other and it was just like, oh hey, what's up, man? Like,
I also heard he's like one of the nicest people in the world.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he actually like responded to this no name kid. But yeah, that's something like a weird thing I found about West Coast culture is like people complain about how people are like assholes on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But like you can walk by someone on the street and just be like, oh hey, what's up? And they'll be like, oh, what's going on, man? You know?
Yeah.
And it's not weird or anything. It's just like, we all live so close, like we all got to get through this together, whatever. Yeah. But you're still a prick.
Yeah.
But out there, like I'd be walking down the street and like see someone just like smile at them, like, hey, how's it going? They'd be like, who the fuck are you? Like,
really?
Yeah.
Because I was actually just down in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And I was opening up talking about this one time. It actually happened to me. It was my brother, but I said it was me because it's the funniest story. But he moved out his job moved him out to Kansas City for this 1 year to open up an office out there.
Okay.
My brother, he's like me. He's born and bred in Philly. So I remember he said it was like the second day he was there. He was at a gas station and he was standing in line, and a guy behind him like tapped him on the back, and he turned around, and the guy goes, "Hey, how's it going, man? I hope this weather warms up." And my brother was like, "Fuck you say to me, dude?" It's like, dude, whatever you're selling, I'm not fucking buying.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "What?" He was just being nice. So
right.
That's so bizarre to like, especially in like I have a big family and very very East Coast family. So it's like my father. Put it like this: my father fucking hates bums. And some people are advocates for the homeless. I get that. But my dad grew up extremely broke. The family had to move a lot. Like, huge family. And fucking never enough money. He was working when he was like 2. What I mean? But like, he always looks at it like there's always a fucking broom that could be pushed, a burger to be flipped. It's like, get off your fucking ass. And it's like, obviously he's not talking about people, they have mental illness or anything like that. Vets, which is horrible. They get treated horrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything.
No, you're talking about people.
Some asshole that's just like bothering people when you're walking out of the fucking CVS on Walnut Street, and it's like, go get a fucking job, asshole. You know what I mean? Like there's a guy right next to him like selling newspapers. It's like, do that,
dude. Yeah, prime example of that. The night I was talking about earlier, where I accidentally took too many mushrooms at a comedy festival and decided I wanted to be a comedian.
Really?
Yeah, that's
a bad trip.
It's right. that's like, I'm like, yeah, the comedy did that for me, not the drug. It wasn't the drug that was making me laugh uncontrollably for 4 hours straight. But yeah, it was at Camden. We took the ferry back over and went Sonny's cheesesteaks we went to.
Yep.
Cause it was like new then, it had just opened and, got one. I don't like eating when I'm tripping.
Sure.
So I ate like half of my cheesesteak and then I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. They have a trippy ass bathroom. I started freaking out a little bit. I was like, let's just go. Like, I'll take the rest of this with me somewhere. We're walking down the street and this dude like approaches me. He's like, hey, can I do you want to buy this drawing that I did? And he like shows me this picture that he drew. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And I look behind him and he had just like traced a poster from the bus stop that was right behind him, like it was like a poster of like the Mona Lisa, and he literally, you could tell he just like put it up there and traced it. I was like, dude, I don't have any money on me, but like, you want half the sandwich? He's like, oh man, thank you so much. I'm like, yeah, enjoy, dude. He goes, oh wait, is there meat in this? I was like, yeah, it's a cheesesteak, dude. He's like, oh, I can't eat that. Yeah, he's like, I can't eat that. I was like, well then I don't feel sorry for you, dude. Like, give me it back. I'll give it to this guy over here who literally looks like he's about to die. There's an old head. And the look on that guy's face, keep in mind, I'm still tripping balls right now. The look on that guy's face, it was like he just met Jesus. Like, when I gave him this cheesesteak, he's just like, oh my God. Like, yeah, I don't even know if that dude could talk. And I don't even know if his stomach could have handled a full cheesesteak, but he got it, and it was his for the night, that was... I don't know. Why did I even bring that up?
We're talking about the homeless.
Okay. Yeah. So your dad hates the guy that couldn't eat the cheesesteak, but the guy who took the cheesesteak, he'd probably be all right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And there's been, there's too many times where it's like, I've watched Shaner. The one time Shaner and me were meeting up, we had to shoot some sketch, and me and him met right in Rittenhouse, and there's a 7-Eleven over there by Rittenhouse Square, and I watched him when I was walking up, I watched him come out, and there was a guy standing there. He had said something to him. Obviously, I couldn't hear him. I was like a block away. And I see Shayna walk back in, and he came back out with like one of those pre-made like bagels and a water.
Okay.
It was like, here you go. And like obviously the guy asked him for food or anything.
Yeah.
Or money to get food or something. So Shayna went in there and got him that. The guy fucking lost his mind. It's like, fuck am I gonna do with that? He was like, well, you could eat it.
Yeah.
You just asked me for money for food, right? You're
right.
Food, and they're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I think he just took the bagel and left, but like he was really upset that he just didn't get money. I'm like,
yeah.
I think bums should be way more honest. It's like I'm a fucking wild heroin addict. I need money for heroin. I'd be like, okay.
I've experienced that. Yeah. Venice Beach, man. The bums on Venice Beach, they don't pull any punches. The one dude walked right up to me. He's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I need some cash. I'm gonna spend it on booze. Like. And again, it was one of those things where I was like, I again happened to have half of a sandwich on me.
Seems walking around the city with half a sandwich.
Yeah, dude.
Were you tripping too?
No, not that time. But that was on Venice Beach, and I was just like, I don't have any money on me, but like, do you want this half a sandwich, dude? He's like, yeah, man, thanks.
Yeah.
Like, all right, like it makes you feel good when you do something nice for someone at least. But
which is weird because it's like you grow up in an area like Philadelphia where it's like very blue collar, very aggressive. Right. It's weird. You almost feel weird doing stuff like nice for people when just out of the goodness of your heart is a tough thing for I think a lot of people in Philly to experience.
Yeah, I think in any big city because once there's enough people around it, you go into like survival mode where what does Yang say? Mindset of scarcity. Yeah, like there's so many people and so few resources. Like I'm not fucking helping anybody. This is all for me. Like small town where I grew up, it's not quite like that. Like people are more willing to give the like bums money and stuff like that. Although Lancaster's pretty bad with I think Lancaster has as many homeless people as Philadelphia.
Really?
Oh god, they just know where to hide. In the winter they're all on the buses. They scrounge up enough money for a monthly bus pass. Yeah. And they just ride the buses around the city.
Yeah, I mean I've seen them in Philly. They do that. And with the L and Broad Street line, the trains. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's becoming kind of an issue there. We have a lot of halfway houses in Lancaster, actually. Okay. Because a lot of ministries and stuff like that run like rehab stuff. So a lot of people come from Philly to Lancaster just for rehab. Really?
And then they go in the halfway house. And then occasionally you find them in the bathroom of your restaurant,
They're just at your house. Like, what the fuck they do at your house?
No.
I heard you have half a sandwich here.
Yeah, are you the half a sandwich dude?
Yeah, dude.
Half sandwich ham bone?
Yeah, dude. That's your nickname up there.
Fuck yeah.
Walking around the half a Subway hoagie.
HSH, baby. They, there is an alley behind my house where I do see a lot of like homeless addicts. Yeah. Because that's like the alley where people apparently go to do drugs.
Homeless alley.
The homeless alley.
Heroin alley. Is it heroin?
Yeah, a lot of heroin.
Yeah.
A lot of heroin. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's exclusively what it is in central Pennsylvania.
Yeah, like Philly, I mean, still is, obviously. Right. But not as bad. But the opioid crisis was just like absurd. And like up where, like Shayna, again, Shayna's from Spring City.
Okay. Yeah. Area. Outside of Reading.
Horrible. It's like horrendous. Like we talked about it on the podcast, but like Christmas Day when he went up to go see his parents, the Norristown stop up there.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I literally walked off the train and this like younger couple walks up and was like, yo, we need your phone, dude. We're stuck, blah, blah, blah. And like, obviously the guy's, and he's texting, he's like, Shayna's like, I'm not going to give you my phone. Yeah. I can call someone for you.
Right.
And the guy's like, just send a text to this number. And Shayna still has the text because the text was like, I need, instead of a Christmas present, can you Venmo me $40 and I'm going to treatment immediately after dinner. That's awesome.
Yeah, like it's funny, but it's sad too. That's real sad, man.
Very sad. I mean, Christmas Day, that's what you're doing.
I fucked up one time getting on the L up by my friend's house in Kensington, because they're like a block away from Huntington Station.
Yeah, Huntington.
Yeah, so I'm hungover as hell. Like I'm feeling real bad, and like I'm not used to interacting with addicts and stuff like that. Like it's not something that's in my brain. So I'm like walking up the steps at the station, and this dude's just like laying on the steps, and he just kind of like looks at me Like he's spacing out. Like he's nodding out, you know.
Yeah.
And but not thinking about it, I'm just like, yeah, dude, I had a rough night last night too. Like
Oh man.
like fist bump him and then fucking walk up the steps, like get on the platform and everything, and like 2 minutes later I hear someone screaming from like down the steps, like, "Are you all right, man? Are you okay? Are you okay? Like, wake up, dude, wake up!" Like,
What was he ODing?
he was ODing, yeah.
You
And
fist bumped
I'm
him?
like, yeah, dude,
Hell
rough
yeah,
night,
bro.
right? Yeah, I felt like such a fucking piece of shit. Like,
Dude, that's just bad timing on your part.
That's
you
the
were
story of
obviously
my
hungover,
life.
So you just walked by.
yeah, it's the story of my life, is just not being aware and saying the complete wrong thing that you shouldn't say in those
Hey,
situations.
asshole, just fist bump this fucking
Yeah.
guy, dude. You're like,
Well, yeah,
"What?"
and like the worst part is it was so soon after I walked up the steps and like went through, and like the SEPTA police came and everything to like take care of the dude, and like the lady in the ticket booth is like looking across at me like, "Did you fucking give this? Were you selling this?" I'm like, "No, like I'm."
Bump heroin into his system.
Yeah, I'm just this shitty dude who fucking fist
I
bumped
usually have
him.
had
Yeah.
a sandwich. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's not my game. That's not my H. That's not the H I roll with. Yeah, dude. Fuck. Okay. So, high speed chase in L.A.
Yeah.
Well,
That was a weird little fucking tidbit you chucked in there. You're like, we'll come back to that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
You ever walk around with sandwiches? Let's talk about this fucking chase. Who the fuck cares about the drug addicts and the hoagies, dude?
We got that content in. Yeah. It's just a weird story trying to like recount everything and how it happened, because there's a lot that like leads into it too. Obviously, most times you don't just end up in a high speed chase by accident.
Yeah.
There's other shit going on. So my roommates both worked at medical clinics when we were out there, like weed clinics, and they were like managers. So like the perk of that was that part of my friend's job was to bring home new product and test it out, so he knows what he's selling to people. So like we used to get free like medical grade weed all the time.
That's correct.
Yeah. So we go to Vegas for a weekend, and they stock up on all of the shit from their dispensaries, so it's all in containers like labeled and blah blah blah. And I think we had just under a half between 4 people, so not a ridiculous amount, but medical weed was so new at the time, so we crossed state lines with it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so we're in Vegas, and my friend and I are 19 at this time. His brother and our roommate are older. They're like at least 21. So his brother gives us like $20 each, and he's just like, go play some slots or whatever, you know, have fun, because we couldn't check into the hotel yet because we were idiots and left LA at midnight to get to Vegas at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So we're playing like penny slots or whatever.
Yeah.
This waitress comes over to us and she's like, "Hey, you guys want a drink or anything?" And I'm like, "No, thanks. It's 7 a.m. Like we're good." She's like,
devil.
"Yeah." So she's like, "Do you have ID on you?" I was like, "Well, we didn't order drinks." She's like, "Yeah, but you have to be 21 to gamble, and you don't look 21." And at that point, I just like stood up. I was like, and before we even said anything, like security was right there.
Yeah.
And we're just like, "All right, well, we'll leave." Like my friend prints out his ticket, and they're like, "No, you can't take that."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, well, like it wasn't my money, it was my brother's money." He keeps like trying to argue with him and everything. Or not even argue.
How much money was it?
It was like $20.
Oh God.
Yeah, so and like the security officer guard is like, "Look, man, you can either leave that or I can call my supervisor." He didn't even wait for us to be like, no, that's fine, we'll leave. Just right on the radio, dudes in suits around us.
Yeah, they don't fuck around.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? They take my friend, and I'm just like, go and find my roommate and his older brother. I'm just like, dude, they took Johnny. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I have to leave. Like, I'm getting kicked out because we're not 21. So they go back to try to deal with that. And apparently at one point, Johnny only had a passport. Like, that was his ID, and it was in his book bag, which was by the machine. So they go grab his book bag, which had all of our weed in it, just dump it out instantly. It didn't even like look through it. Like, yeah. And so it's all these containers with like dispensary names on them and everything. And security, like, Nevada had medical laws at that point, so it wasn't like it shouldn't have been that big of a deal.
Right.
But they made a huge deal out of it, and they were like gonna fucking arrest him and like put him in federal prison for like narcotics trafficking and shit like that because we crossed state lines. Somehow they got out of it. Like somehow they just let him go.
How the fuck did that happen?
Well, 3 weeks later, he's driving into work, and SWAT teams, the DEA, fucking raided his dispensary. And when they showed up, they were like, "Where's Johnny?" You know, so that got real fucking dirty real quick.
Why did they raid it?
Because it was when the federal government was still just doing that, you know, occasionally raiding fucking dispensaries.
Yeah.
The dude apparently who owned it was also shady.
Okay.
Shady as shit. And that we found that out later.
Yeah.
Because they took the computer, like some of his employees took the computer so they couldn't get like patient information off of it.
Mm.
And that ended up back at our apartment somehow. So this guy's like texting Johnny like, "Yo, you took where's the fucking computer? What'd you do with it? Blah, blah, blah." And we're like, "Oh yeah, no, dude, it's cool. We have it. Like, come get it. We'll give it to you. Like, no problem." But he was insane and probably thought we were like, "Yeah, we got it." Like, come over and fucking
team in the bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. So we set up a meeting where we can fucking exchange this shit with him. And we do it in like a Barnes and Noble parking lot. So there's cameras everywhere. We're kind of smart about it. And me, another friend, and our roommate were like sitting in a car in a parking lot. Like we were staking them out.
Yeah.
It feels badass now that I'm telling the story.
Yeah.
So they like...
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
With Cal.
So they're like waiting for this guy. He like pulls in and a like minivan pulls in behind him. And this giant motherfucker gets out of the minivan. Like huge motherfucker. And they like give him the computer and they like walk out of view, like I can't see what's going on, and then I just see my friend hit the ground, like fall out. Like they beat the shit out of him. And
why?
Because they thought he was trying to fucking rat him out.
Oh, okay.
They thought he was
set him up.
Yeah. And so according to him, they're like punching him like repeatedly, just like, "We know where you fucking live, like blah blah blah. You filled out an application, motherfucker. Like we have all your information." And he's just like, I was trying to help. Like, I don't fucking know. Yeah. So I see that happen. I jump out of the car. Like, and I'm wearing like flip flops, but I'm like, "It's going down, bitch." Yeah, like, I'm fucking, yeah. That's my, yeah, dude.
Fucking party.
Like Popeye. I just, a lot of spinach on that bitch. But yeah, I like jump out and I'm ready to fucking do something, but no one comes with me.
Of course.
So those guys pull out, I jump back in the car, and we start following them. They realize that we're following them.
Big dude in the dispensary guy, yeah.
Yeah, they realize we're following them. They pull some maneuvers, get behind us.
Now they're chasing you.
Yeah, now they're chasing us. And it's like, dude, I don't know if this guy has a gun. Like, I just saw him.
I mean, he's wailing on dudes in the middle of a Barnes and Noble parking
exactly.
lot.
So we're like,
say he might be strapped.
We're zigzagging through streets and everything. Our friend Patrick is driving, and it's just like, my roommate's on the phone with 911. Like, we're being chased. I'm like crouched, like, "Don't shoot me."
Are you driving?
No, my friend was.
Okay.
Other friend was. 3 people in the car.
Yeah.
And eventually we just pass a cop and he just fucking pulls over. We just stop. We're like, "Officer, like, the car is following us, like, blah, blah, blah. We need help." Like, and he's like, "What the fuck is, I gotta give this guy a speeding ticket. Hold on." Like, yeah.
He's in the middle of writing out a ticket. You guys pull up like, "We're getting fucking chased. Dude.
Yeah.
Please help us."
Yeah. So like, eventually, like, we just lived the last like 2 months that I lived there was just living in like fear of someone fucking showing up at our door
did
that
exact
car
revenge. Come up when you guys were talking?
They kept driving.
They went past you.
Yeah, they just kept driving.
They didn't get pulled over or anything?
No. And eventually, one of the girls who used to hang out with us that also worked at that dispensary, they put the owner, they got some charges on him.
What did they get him for?
A lot of things, like racketeering and fucking extortion and shit like that. Sure. As far as I know anyway. But yeah, she had to testify at his like trial and shit, and she was the only one who was willing to do it.
Yeah.
Because she was there watching my friend get fucking pummeled. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It was it was a whole mess, but like nobody died, you know.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, we could do Nobody Died again. The theme could be ham bones running away from criminals.
Except it's not that funny. Like I'm not good at punching up stories. I wish I was, but
yeah.
Especially one like that where I'm like it was so close to the heart.
Being told, I mean, when we did the show, and for the theme, we don't always tell because it was always stand-ups telling stories. So
right.
It was like it's tough for stand-ups to tell a story like that and not try and get a laugh every few seconds. You know what I mean? It's like you're doing comedy, but we made it very clear. It's like, dude, just tell the story because the story is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you want to, punch up a part here and there, that might be a little bit draggy part of it, but essential to the overall story.
Right.
But we'd always tell people, like, don't go over the top. Like, it's stupid. Cause
it
takes away from it, too.
Yeah.
It's like, just tell the story. That's how it all started, was like, was me and Wood Run. We did this benefit show in Jersey, and this is fucking, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. We were on the way there, and it was a benefit for a youth soccer team.
Okay.
And there's a comic in Jersey. He's been around for fucking 100 years, and he used to love Wood, so he would put Wood on these shows. They needed another comic. He asked me, so me and Wood are driving out there. I can't remember the story I told him, but he was laughing so hard, and like it was like I have a million stories like that. You know what I mean, from back in the day of being a moron. Whatever.
Right.
Then the next day we met and fucking we were talking about it, and I said, well, it's we should do it like this, where it's strictly stand-ups, because they're not going to try and be like a storyteller. Nothing against storytellers or improv people or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just not going to be told like you're sitting at a bar with somebody or riding to a shitty show with one of your friends. And then I remember we were sitting in McGlinchey's bar, shithole in Center City, and fucking, he got up to go to the bathroom. I was like, well, what are we going to call it? We can't call it, stand-ups telling stories. And Woods walking away. He's like, I got fucking pissed. I fucking know we died, dude. I was like, done. And that's how we got that show going.
Nice.
And then I think, honest to God, 2 weeks exactly after that, Ari premiered This Is Not Happening. I was like,
yeah.
Everyone's like, we just doing an Ari show? I was like, what? We came up with that.
Dude, that's what happened with me trying to come up with a name for this podcast. Like,
that's the worst.
Yeah, because every time, well, first of all, every fucking comedian has a podcast. So right there, like from the start, it's like, do I really want to fucking do this? Like, but yeah, it was going to be called Making Friends with Hambone. Was what I was going to call it at first, but Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend is kind of like the same thing, or Conan Needs a Friend. And then it was just going to be Hambone has a podcast, but Norm Macdonald already has a show. So it's like, God damn it. Everything I come up with, it's just like too close. I'm not like, it's like, okay, maybe you're not trying to rip it off, but you are kind of anyway, because it's like such a close, similarity to the name. So yeah, then I ended up with like, it's like, what do I want to fucking do on this? Human interaction. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Like, I don't fucking know, dude.
Well, that's what we did when we started the podcast. I can't remember, it was some lame ass name. We were calling it like The End or something. That was like the working title, and we recorded like probably 1 or 2, maybe 3 episodes of us, and we used to like throw in like segments of like this day in history and make fun of people about this day in history because they fucked up. But like the overall theme is, essentially what we still do to this day, which is making fun of people that fuck up.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's been a saying in my family for years. It's like, I hate fucked it. How the birds know. It's like fucking Randall fucked it. Who knows?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I said to Shana, we're sitting at I was sitting at my old house and we had people over were drinking. I just turned to him and we were talking about it. I was like, let's just call it you fucked it, dude. And he was like, yeah, but with fucked. And I was like, I mean, dude, Corinne and Christina have guys you fucked.
Right.
And they just put in this thing. So we just put in a little numerical sign. And it was funny because, like, dude, getting on iTunes and getting the Facebook stuff up and everything was like fucking took forever.
Because you just kept getting shut down. Yeah.
And then we just stopped doing like bits. And I was like, we don't work like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we need to start ripping it. And then, like, that's how that worked. And, I mean, it just has me and him have a good chemistry of just talking dumb shit. And it's, it's easy to make fun of me. It's easy to make fun of him. So it's a good back and forth. And, I've known him forever. So
exactly. That's what I was going to say. You guys have, you've known it. It's your boy. Yeah, your boys. So, you can fucking, you can make fun of each other and not get pissed off about something.
Yeah. We literally joke all the time about his cancer riddled father. Like, his father is should be dead 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The fact that he's alive is absurd. And, he's on his way out. But we make fun of him all the time. And it's mostly Shaner. Like,
yeah.
I definitely add to it, but...
Yeah, well, I did the same thing when my mom had breast cancer.
Okay.
I wrote jokes about it. And the first person I showed them to was her. I was like, because mostly it was like, I'm gonna do these jokes on stage, and you might see a video of it at some point. So, like, just so you're aware. And her response was, haha, good one. I was like, all right, sweet, Mom, thanks.
I mean, my dad doesn't give me bits, but he tells me about stuff that, he'll hear me tell a joke. Like, when he comes to see me, like, at Helium the one weekend, he was telling me, this was on like a Thursday night, when me and Gillis were with Gilbert Godfrey for the weekend, and the first night I told a story, and he came the second night too with my mom and my aunts and stuff. But the first night I was telling a story about growing up in my family and certain things, and he was like, I don't know why you don't tell the fucking SPCA thing. I was like, what? He's like, when Mom fucking almost beat the shit out of me because she found out I was bringing, you and the other kids to the SPCA and calling it the zoo. Like, when did you do that? He's like, a couple of years. I was like, why? He's like, we don't have any fucking money for the zoo. I'm bringing out SPCA. You know any better. I remember calling my older brother. I called my older brother like that night. I was like, Friday night before the second job. I was like, did you know fucking Dad would bring us to the SPCA and call it the zoo? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, well aware.
When did you know that? He's like, first time we pulled into the SPCA. I was like, why are we here and not the zoo?
Yeah, the big sign that says SPCA.
He was like, you were literally the only one out there. You were walking around like, this zoo's weird. Like an idiot. But that was I remember I did it that night, and my sister was there with friends, and they all like looked at my dad. He's like, yup. Yep. I was like, I'm not... Dude, Ronnie Chang, I opened up for him at...
okay, nice.
At Punchline, and I remember the first night I came off stage and I brought up the feature, which was Ant Moore that weekend, and he came like fucking running. I'm not like hauling, but like moving pretty quickly. I mean, I was like, what the fuck, dude? And I was like, come on, let's do this. I didn't know what the fuck. He's like, Brian, that fucking SPCA, that is fucking, is that real? I was like, yeah, that's all too real, dude. He's like, that is fucking hysterical. To this day, he still tells fucking people about that.
Yeah.
Every time I don't talk to him all the time, but if I do, if we cross paths, he goes, I always tell people about that. It's the funniest fucking, for some reason, it was just so funny to me. I'm like, yeah, dude, my dad did not give a fuck. There's animals, what do you want?
Yeah, you get to pet them.
Yeah. Don't touch them.
Yeah.
Too much. It's like the zoo.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you'll get diseases.
Yeah, don't fall into the cage. Don't fall in the gorilla cage.
It's like Great Dane. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, look, we had an hour, hour 10. So, thanks for fucking hanging out, talking about it.
Man.
Fun time.
Cool. When's this out?
Who knows? I don't. I kind of try to stay evergreen with them, and because I have like 8 episodes banked right now. Like I go through binges where I'll just record like 3-4 episodes in a day, so I have them.
Right.
And
that's the way to go.
Yeah.
We were doing that for like the first month, and we're like, fuck it.
Right. Well, speaking of fuck it, Brian is on. He's the co-host of You Fucked It podcast. If you haven't heard it, listen to it. It's great. Yeah. It's fun. It's a fun time.
We're idiots.
Yeah, exactly.
We're like 2 guys with no agenda. Making fun of the one's almost dead dad. You'll love it.
Yeah, I'm sure my 11 listeners will fucking tune in at some point.
Listen.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Pat.
Yeah. Well, actually most of it is like people I know from high school. So yeah, you might get some new listeners out of it. I recommend it. Everybody who I'm gonna have on here who has a podcast, it's like, dude, listen to that shit because it's way better than this.
Which is different.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
You got it.
I appreciate that.
This is nice. Not having to fucking deal with Shaner and some of the other podcasts it has to do. It's literally just talking about comedy, which I fucking hate more than anything.
Yeah.
I don't mind it if that's what they need.
Right.
But every time I do a podcast like that, where it's strictly talking about comedy, it's always with somebody that's usually a fan of comedy or kind of a producer of it, as opposed to someone that's working in comedy, because they're like, I fucking hate talking about it. I'm like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, like, depending on who I'm with, some of the comics that I've had on, we end up talking about comedy just because that's how we know each other, and that's where the conversation goes. But I don't have again, no agenda with this. It's just it's literally just me getting better at talking to people.
That's great.
That's all I want to do with it.
Help.
Yeah. Oh, it already has. Yeah. Absolutely. And giving me a little more confidence and shit like that. Like just being able to hold a conversation with another person.
Too, because you'll start telling stories and then like you'll start realizing like, why the fuck aren't I putting that in my routine?
Yeah.
Like that's hilarious. Like you had that story about you getting chased by a bunch of fucking clubhouse is hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's good.
Cool. Well, thank you for listening. This has been Human Interaction. I'm your host, Andrew Hambo in Hamilton. It's my guest, Brian Six of Yo Fucked It Podcast. Check that out and come back next time.